Good day, everyone. Michael Tatlock back here with another movie review. This time I'm reviewing Ghost Stories, which is going to be released in theaters this Friday, April 20th, and it's also being released on demand. It's IFC Midnight release. It is a British film. It stars Martin Freeman. It stars Andy Nyman, who is returning to the role. He's playing the same character as he played in the stage play, because this movie, Ghost Stories, is based on a play. It is based on, I got all the names here. It's based on Jeremy Dyson, who also directs the movie, and he wrote the play, and Andy Nyman played the main character, which is Professor Philip Goodman. Like I said, terrible with names. The idea behind Ghost Stories is Professor Philip Goodman. He has grown up. He's a Jewish man. He's grown up in a very kind of like religious based, spiritual based kind of life, and he says that's ruined his life basically. So he doesn't believe in the supernatural, and he is basically spent his whole life trying to disprove the supernatural. He has a TV show, and he actually basically disproves psychics. There's like one point in the movie where he like goes on stage and like outs a psychic for having an earbud in his ear, and he's like, everyone hates him kind of thing. Because I mean, some people, even if the psychic is not real, the things they say may help someone cope over the loss of, say, their son or something like that. So, you know, he can kind of be a dick at times. He has a kind of mentor that he grew up with, another person who also doesn't believe in the supernatural, and he had a TV show back in, like, say, the 70s. If I could remember the guy's name. I'm probably not going to remember the guy's name for you. Let me see if I can get it real quick. If not, we will move on. Is it Charles Cameron? It might be Charles Cameron. Anyways, he grew up loving, like, worshiping him because he didn't believe in the supernatural as well, and he'd go to people's homes and he would disprove a haunting or a possession. He would basically say your mind sees what it wants to see. Basically, your eyes see what they want to see, and then the guy disappears, and everyone assumes he's dead until Philip Goodman gets a letter in the mail saying that he wants to meet Philip, the guy, whatever his name is, wants to meet him. So he goes and meets him, and the guy is kind of on his deathbed, and he gives him 3 files that he could never explain. He was not able to disprove or prove, and whether it was supernatural or not. So he gives it to Philip Goodman, and he tells him, you try to disprove these. So Philip Goodman goes and meets the 3 people, and they tell the story, which sets it into the anthology type story where we have story 1, story 2, story 3. Story 1 takes place in an asylum, an abandoned asylum where a night watchman is there, and a whole bunch of spooky stuff happens. Story 1, I find, actually is probably the most spooky of the 3 stories. It actually gave me some pretty good chills because it relies on a lot of kind of wider angles, but low-key sounds, and there's a few jump scares, but it's not over-relying on the jump scares. Then he goes and meets the second guy, who is played by, what is his name? Alex Lothar, who was in the Black Mirror season 2, I believe, or the one where they were blackmailing people, and he was forced to go and do a bunch of stuff. He plays a character who is on his way home driving, and he hits someone. The something he hits is actually not human. It's some sort of weird devil creature thing. I won't spoil too much more about that because I've probably already spoiled enough. That one kind of relies more on not scares, but some kind of funny moments. There's like this cool Evil Dead kind of camera zoom, and he's pretty funny when he's like very neurotic and not completely there. So like when he interacts with this, whatever it is, there's some funny stuff. But it actually does end on a really cool note. It ends on something which I assume kind of looked to me to be practical effects were used on whatever it ends on, because I'm not going to spoil it. And then Philip goes and meets the third person, who is played by Martin Freeman, who you know from Sherlock and all that. He tells a story about how during his wife was in labor, she goes to the hospital, he stays home, and he's getting haunted by a poltergeist, or what we assume is a poltergeist. And a lot of the kind of chilling stuff happens there as well. That one kind of goes back more into the chilling stuff, and Martin Freeman does a really good job, I find, and actually has a pretty solid ending that kind of made me go, holy shit. And then we get into the wraparound where at first, all three stories didn't seem like they were actually connecting at all. But then as you kind of go further into, say, the wraparound, you start to realize that all three of them are connecting in a way. I do have something here. I actually made a few notes. Yeah. See, look at that. Jeez. Ghost Stories features 3 stories with seemingly no connection. But as the story unfolds, we see there's more than meets the eye. See that? I wrote that. Stories was returning to the road, unbelief, okay. Oh, check this out. This is another line that I wrote. I'm going to post this. I'm posting, obviously this video is going to be on YouTube, but I'm going to have a write-up on my Mind of Talok website as well. Ghost Stories not only delivers on some solid chills, like I said, but it also provides a thought-provoking conclusion that will leave you thinking about the film long after the credits roll. Doesn't that sound quote-worthy? Huh? IFC Midnight, when you release this, on DVD or Blu-ray. Nice quote right there. Mind of Talok. Anyways, I definitely recommend checking out Ghost Stories. It definitely had a lot of creepy moments, and the ending kind of wraps everything up, and like I said, it will leave you thinking about it. As soon as it was over, I immediately jumped online and looked up some other reviews and some discussions about it, and there is definitely a lot in the movie that makes you want to go back and watch it again. So it's definitely a return type of film that you'll return to it, watch it again, and then maybe even watch it again to see anything else you miss. So definitely check out Ghost Stories. It releases, like I said, in theaters and on demand April 20th from IFC Midnight. Thanks for watching.